Hey everyone, MTast here, and I wanted to talk about the banners because they just dropped all the news on the Nahida, Nilou, and the weapon banner. I want to talk about if they're good, if they're worth it, and give you my opinions on some of these characters. I think that Nahida is an absolute must-pull on any account. I think she is that good. Nahida is a fantastic unit, and the 4-star options that are available, they're hit or miss. I want to talk about if you're a new player, I want to talk about if you're a veteran player, but if you're a veteran, you probably don't need to listen to me because, well, you probably know the game better than me because you're all veterans. So, let's chat about it. I personally think that regardless of the 4-star characters, if you don't have Nahida, you should get her. She opens up a lot of different doors, she opens up a lot of different teams, she provides some pretty amazing area of effect, she provides elemental mastery to your team. And as a Dendro unit, she is right up there top tier. Now, as for the 4-star units, let's have a little chat. Dory is pretty bad to very bad. She is not used in almost any team. She provides almost no value that you can't get somewhere else, and I would never recommend building a Dory. If you're a new player, if you get her, I'm sorry. Layla can be a shielder. She's okay, but I think there's just way better units than Layla. I really wish one of these would have been swapped out for Faruzan. She's this Animo support unit. I think she's awesome and can provide some amazing damage for your animal units. I think that if Faruzan was on here instead of one of these two, this was a banger. Absolute banger, but we got two kind of stinker units that aren't very great. But Kuki Shinobu is actually someone that I recently built. Kuki Shinobu can be one of the most valuable units in the game right now. When she first came out, everyone roasted her. I roasted her, but things have changed. With the addition of Dendro and even Nahida, you can do some very interesting Hyper Bloom comps, and it's actually something I'm running right now. I've got Ayato, I've got Xingqiu, I've got my Nahida, and I generate a bunch of these little seeds, and then you essentially blow them up with Kuki Shinobu, and you stack as much EM as you can get on her, and she heals your team, does a ton of damage, and it's pretty darn cool. So Kuki Shinobu actually can probably help you clear the Spiral Abyss. I'm not saying she's a must-have unit. There's other units that you can do it, but getting these two together would be a pretty awesome boon for your account, and I would definitely recommend it. Now, if you're a veteran, do you want to go for constellations here? Nahida's constellations are actually pretty cool. As for constellations, Nahida's first one is pretty interesting. When you use her burst ability, you get a plethora of value. If you've got one pyro unit on your team, you're going to get this damage bonus. However, with Constellation 1, it would always count as one extra. So if you have Bennett on your lineup or your team, you'd actually have 2 pyro characters. If you had Fischl or Kuki Shinobu, you'd actually have 2 Electro characters. And so this can be a pretty awesome boost to your damage, to your cooldowns. It is pretty good, but the next constellation is the one where it starts getting really nutty. You get a bonus to Burning, Bloom, Hyper Bloom, and Bursion damage, and they can score a critical hit now. What? Pretty amazing overall. Also, if you're doing Quicken, Aggravate, or Spread damage, you decrease the enemy's defense by 30%. My head's kind of in the way there. But if you tag an enemy with Nahida, then you're going in with Kaching. Kaching is going to be shredding their defenses, essentially. And it's going to be even easier to hit them. One of the most valuable constellations in the game is C2, because this ignores a percentage of their opponent's defense. If you're able to shred their defenses, you get a lot of extra damage for your team. And so Nahida C2 is pretty cool. But let's just be honest, even C0, I am slapping the Spiral Abyss. Absolutely slapping it, but Nahida is awesome. I would recommend her for pretty much anyone. If you are a veteran and you just skipped, get her. If you're new, get her. Now, what about Nilou? Nilou is a very specific playstyle, and a lot of people are saying that you need to have Nahida to truly get the full function of Nilou. I don't know if this is true, because I've never built her. I would go and watch a review on if you want to get this character and if you like the playstyle. For me, it's a skip. I used her, I tried her, I'm not a big fan, but you can blow stuff up with her. She's a kind of a bloom comp. You make a bunch of seeds with Dendro and Hydro, and then they all blow up and things die. It's interesting, it's unique. It's not my style, but it might be yours. She also has some very cool animations overall. I don't think she's the strongest character in the game by any means, and she does rely on some other units to kind of get going, but so does everyone. So what's the difference? I don't know if I would recommend Nilou to new players, but I'm also dumb, so don't listen to me. However, listen to me on this one. The weapon banners are always bait. Weapon banners are trash. Please don't get weapon banners. Please, ever. That being said, Xiphos Moonlight is a potentially godly weapon. Stringless is fantastic. We've got Sacrificial, or is that Widsith? I think that's Sacrificial, right? Yeah, that's Sacrificial. Had to be sure. And then, you know, we've got Favonius, which not a lot of characters use, and Dragon's Bane is fine. Now, the Catalyst is good. If you want to stack a bunch of EM on your Nahida and pass it over to your teammates, if you want to get some just overall nice value for Nahida, it is a good Catalyst. And some other units could use it, but I don't know if it's this must-have meta thing. Now, key. The key is only for Nilou. It is trash tier on anyone but Nilou. I would not recommend it to anyone. I would not recommend it today, tomorrow, or ever. If you don't have this character, because of the scaling on it, it just isn't great. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I don't have anything else to say. I'm not going to keep this video going. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just going to cut it. Because in my opinion,